Womp, womp, womp. We all lose in trading, but the best loser does win. What's going on? Alex O'Crypto here to talk about some losses, okay? Because it is important to share that we aren't perfect, but nonetheless, we do practice good risk management. We have a strategy. It is profitable, but nonetheless, we do take losses. So let's go over some of the losses, how I manage my risk, and how to make sure that the risk to reward ratio is positive. Because everybody here in this industry says, oh, you need a 3-to-1, right? You need a 2-to-1, right? I don't necessarily think that is realistic. I think you manage to trade in accordance with your strategy. If you have invalidation points, then you are invalidated and therefore you are wrong. Maybe you take profit early because you can see invalidation along the way. Okay, so we were looking for a beautiful swing failure pattern coming down during news events. First off, Alex O'Crypto. Follow your rules. One of my rules, not trading during news events. I guess Ethereum ETF did not fall into that category, but nonetheless, we did practice good risk management. Therefore, we did not take as heavy as a loss as we could have, because whenever I'm looking to get into a trade, I have a defined risk, okay? So let's say I go long here, right? I believe it might have been here. And I got stopped out, okay? And I'm targeting back up to the highs here, right? So this was where I was looking to trade, and I got knocked out twice, okay? Twice. Now, if you're like me, the most upsetting thing about taking a loss is, of course, when it goes in the right direction right after you take the stop loss, okay? And this happens, okay? So what I was looking for was the swing failure pattern and then the continuation upwards, which is part of my strategy. One of my A+ setups. I look for a fib bounce. I look for this beautiful bullish divergence, continuation back up, retesting previous highs. It's a beautiful, typical, quick move, and I got stopped out twice. Okay, so the idea was coming down to this area here. I had, I believe, multiple confluences, multiple levels of so here we go. You can see I have a volume level in here, and I was looking for the price early, so I was wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. It isn't okay to not be disciplined and practice good risk management, because typically my trades will pay out 1 to 1.5% moves, right? So I'm looking for that beautiful 1% move here, right? So you can see that this falls in within that category if I'm looking to manage my risk, right? So I want to be taking trades that I know that there's upside available to grab the amount that I'm willing to gain, right? That's also another thing, is holding trades longer, right? So with good risk management, I typically look to make about $800 per trade and lose about $200 to $300 depending on the trade. Now, because it was a news event, this is also a very important thing that I did, is that I sized down. Okay, I sized down. I only put 50% of my position in both of these trades. Therefore, I lost 150 and 150. Okay, so understanding conditions, understanding what's going on in the markets, where I'm at, what am I looking for, is also very important. Understanding this, maybe you've been on a losing streak. Maybe you need to size down in order to get some wins under your belt. This is also a very important thing about trading, is we're not putting on size and going into tilt, getting angry or frustrated with large sums of capital. Okay, we want to reduce our capital and get some wins, get that confidence. You want to feel confident when trading. You want to be like, okay, this is my level, this is my risk. I'm staying disciplined within this trade setup, okay? Because we were able to grab a beautiful long the other day, okay? So we came down here. We had that Wyckoff accumulation. The breakout trade was here. We were looking for this as a community. Now, if you are interested, join us in the Discord. It's a free Discord. We give trade setups in advance. Amazing group of amazing community and group of people, all like-minded, making money together, growing together. and it's a great place to be. So if you're looking for a good community, some ideas, some signals, some community where we're all working together, traders helping traders. You know, we are a traders Discord first and then a YouTube community second. And I think that's so important. So this trade, perfect little trade, protecting ourselves just below the highs here, right? Risk to reward, had a target, right? Now, some people, they want to know, how do you take profits, right? So we want to maximize our profits as much as we can, right? But we also want to be able to manage our emotions, right? So what happened here is that we had the perfect retest, okay? And this is a beautiful Wyckoff breakout here where you get your spring, your continuation here, you get your consolidation at the highs, and then your eventual move, okay, and the breakout move. And we were looking for this, but where do we take profits? Okay, so I got in a little bit late, so I got in up here, and I had to wait through this, right? I had to wait through this consolidation here, but the trade setup was given in advance. I had managed my risk below these lows here, and this was a very good risk to reward ratio. But as soon as we broke these highs here, I took half of it out, and then we came just underneath my full take profit here, and we started to come back, so I got out there as well. Okay, and I cut the trade and was able to secure those profits. Now, how do we know when we are invalidated? Okay, when we are invalidated and when we are wrong. That's something that's very important to be able to identify them. So we just made a video on market structure and how to invalidate trades. So let's go into like a shorter term time frame. This is much easier, I believe, if we are getting invalidation signals. So where is a good example? Let's say we got long here, okay? So we got long on this little bump up here, right here. Okay, let's zoom into price action. Let's say our stop loss was here. We're trying to come up to the top of this trend line here, but you can see price eventually goes against us. So let's say we got long right here, okay? So right on these lows here. Beautiful entry, right? As we move up, maybe we took off half of it here, right? We're targeting this high here, right? Where is my invalidation point, right? So you can see exhaustion wicks up top, right? Exhaustion wicks up top, coming back down, maybe scaring us out. Maybe we moved our stop loss to break even here and we're out of the trade. That's one option, okay? Maybe when we came up here and we failed to make a higher high, okay? Failed to make a higher high up here. That's another invalidation point as well, in my opinion. So you can see here that we clearly have come up and we have failed to make a higher high. So we want to see this continue its work upwards. Even if we have a swing down to here, as long as we are making a higher high after this dip, we can look for that continuation. We never got that. We came barely up to this wick here, and then we rolled over. We did the exact same here. 2 warnings. You had 2 warnings in this trade here to get out of your trade, and I would cut it there. Okay? So those are invalidation points. You want to look at structure. You also want to look at volume. Maybe the volume is giving you a signal here. So you can see volume's pretty flat here, and then when it reverses, it's getting stronger. So you can see the ramping up in volume from here to here, right? Where there's ramping up, volume is ramping up into the lows. Okay, so there's many different ways to invalidate and practice risk. What the most important thing is that we have to accept that losing is part of trading. Okay, so managing risk is about discipline. It's about having invalidation points. It's also having defined amounts of money that you're willing to lose each trade, and defined amounts of money that you want to make on each trade. Right. Therefore, compounding an account or growing an account becomes a lot easier, and it becomes much more robotic and takes the emotions out of it. And I think that's one of the things that took me a little bit to learn, is that I have to have, number one, a profitable strategy. Without a good strategy, without your edge, you don't have anything. So go and get a strategy, go and back test, right? And then number 2, how are you managing your risk? What is your account size? How much are you risking per trade? I would suggest 2 to 3 to 4%, 5% max per trade. Maybe on those A+ setups, you go to a 6% of your account size, you can double down maybe on a A+ trade setup that you can see that's very profitable. Okay, that takes experience. But I would only be risking about 2 to 3% per trade, trying to compound that, and then eventually adding more capital as you grow your account. But managing the risk is what's going to allow you to have longevity, which is also going to allow you to trade longer. Okay, I started with a $1,000 account, and I traded in a $1,000 account for almost 7 months. Okay, and that's how I started. And I tried to compound that account, right? And then eventually you add more money, and you become more comfortable with the more money, seeing the drawdown and seeing the profits as well, right? Because we don't want to get too happy. I'm the boss. I'm a king. Look at me go. And you don't want to get too into tilt where you're like, man, I suck. This is BS. This is a load of blah, 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 right? So it's adding all of that in together. So managing your risk, managing your emotions, but also having a very defined strategy and applying discipline in that strategy is what's going to help you become a profitable and consistently profitable trader and have some longevity in these markets. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.